his seizures. I
Wow.
mean, my son had basically 30 seizures a day.
Really? A day?
I'm not kidding. It was very
Wow.
exaggerated, but it was. And
Wow.
doctors did not know what to do. They said, okay, let's give him more of this medication.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. This episode of the Infinite Abilities Podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com, and discover how infinite your potential really is. All right, everyone. So on today's episode, it's very special because I have my good friend Julina, and then her son Rodrigo. And Giulina is just amazing. We met at an event a while back, and we just clicked right away, and we had a lot to talk about. So I'm super excited for this episode, and she does some amazing things and also makes some amazing food. So I'm excited to talk about that too. All right, so Julina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Julina Santana, and actually we're over here in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and here with my son Rodrigo, and we let's see, I'm from Mexico, from Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco. So I do know a lot of several languages to speak. And definitely, I have a business which it involves everything organic foods, Mexican cuisine mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And it started basically with this handsome one next to me, my son, Rodrigo. And that's how this enveloped everything with Rodrigo and the foods that I make.
Yeah. So, what is it about Rodrigo that made you start this journey?
Well, he started having a lot of gut problems since he was a baby, when he was basically born.
Okay.
I thought that my Mexican food, it will help him, but I didn't know he had a lot of situations with foods and many, even, let's see, gluten. So he's gluten free. We had to take out a lot, like onions, garlic, gassy foods, basically.
Yeah.
The kid will not be out of the hospital. I mean, it was screaming, shouting, hurting, crying for 6 hours nonstop. And I was like, what in the world's going on? We take him to the hospital. They will calm his gut. And he had so much going on when he was like around 3 or 4 years old. Everything, that's when it started. So it was a blessing through a chef. She started actually teaching me how to start these foods for him, and everything has to be organic. This kid does not know. This young man, actually, because not a kid anymore, but
I know, right?
doesn't know what is sugar, because he never eats sugar. He doesn't know what sodas are, what like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, nothing of sodas. He does not understand. He doesn't know what the taste of it is.
Well, that's good.
Chips,
That stuff is not good for you, so that's good.
no, nothing. So this kid has been only eating gluten-free, organic. That's it.
Wow.
And that's how I started my business. I said, okay, I'm going to start basically, and I work with parents, with mothers, and single mothers and single fathers. I have worked with them on how to feed, make the best foods for their children, like with special abilities, basically, like autism and ADHD, you name it.
Yeah. Well, I love that you say special abilities instead of special needs. I say the same thing. Because we all have our own unique abilities, and we're all just amazing. And on the inside, we're human.
Yeah.
And we all have so much potential, regardless of what disability we have and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, but can you tell us what disability Rodrigo has?
Okay, he is autistic and in the lower spectrum.
Yeah.
He has cerebral palsy.
Just like me?
Yeah. Yes, and it was cerebral palsy. He has a lot of autism and developmentally delayed too. So in the mind of a 5-year-old, in the body of a 17-year-old. He'll soon will be 17. He'll be 17 on October 10th.
Yep. Yeah. I knew his birthday was coming up because mine's October 9th. And I remember we were talking, and I remember that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what?
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
And, for you as a parent, when he first got diagnosed, what were you thinking at that time?
Well, there was nothing about thinking. It was more as feeling.
Yeah.
I was feeling when Rodrigo was born. He was born, let's see, 2.5 pounds. I was 26 weeks and being pregnant. So when he was born, he was perfectly fine born, but at 72 hours, he had an aneurysm, and this is what all happened. So he has a 3 and a 2, no, a 3 and a 4 bleedings that he had in his brain. So since then, all of this happened.
Yeah.
I left it on the hands of God, basically. I said, okay, I really want this child. I mean, to me, he was desirable to have. I wanted to have a beautiful kid, but I was not planning to have a child like him.
Yeah, well, nobody does.
What you are able to hold on to, like to bear to. And basically, I even said, you know what, mijito? Even if the doctor, I remember the doctor next to him when he was incubating, in the incubator, they say, well, your son is not going to be able to walk. He may not even be alive after 2 years old.
Wow.
And I said, really?
I heard him chuckle just now. He's like, yeah, look at me now, guys.
Oh, you should have seen him when he was 5 years old. We had a NICU reunion here in Springfield at Mercy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. He remembers the voice of this doctor. And back then, when he was 5, 6 years old, he was already starting to walk.
Yeah.
And we went to horse therapy, and that's what helped him, is to walk. Yeah. So when we were there, I mean, my ex-husband, his father, he just like grabs me, and we're like, what is going on with you, Rodrigo? Take this off of me. I'm going to stand. I mean, he will not speak, but she's were like, get me off from this stroller because I am going to walk. I'm like, walk? Okay, mijito, okay, let's take this off. So mom is here taking everything off. And And I told Andres, come on, get him up. Let's go. Let's go. So we got him standing, and him by himself, he walked, and I was behind him. Yeah, he gets to him and hugs his legs and looks up and says, yeah. like looking at him like that. He remembers. And I went, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Rodrigo, you are amazing, man. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, he was incredible. And the doctor said, oh my gosh, Rodrigo. And I'm like, yeah, and you say he's not going to walk and he's 5 years old?
Yeah. Well, Rodrigo, I got to tell you, I started walking at 5 years old also. So we have that in common too.
Yeah, it's true.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, so many stories with him to share. But that's one of the things when Rodrigo was born as that. Yeah, I mean, it was at first, I was not even shocked or anything. I was more like, okay, I'm here. And whatever it is needed, I am here because I
was just gonna say, you know, you're like, I'm here. All right, what do I have to do for my son? Let's just make it happen.
Yeah,
and that's incredible. I love that. And
yeah, and you do. I don't know. I feel like this warrior is inside of me, just going, let's do this no matter what.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like that, and I'm still like that. Don't worry.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You're just an incredible person, and I love you from the bottom of my heart.
I love you too, Miko.
I love every time we get to talk, and I can't wait for the next time we get to see each other in person again.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. And, another thing that, me and Rodrigo kind of have in common is, everything happened to him at birth. And when I was born, I was born without a heartbeat. I wasn't breathing. I was just, I came out purple and blue, and that's what caused my cerebral palsy also.
Lack of oxygen.
Yep, exactly. But I didn't get diagnosed until I was like 1 year old, because, I was a baby and, everything else was good. They did say that I had a couple seizures, and I don't know like how early on, but I do know I had seizures. Haven't had any since. I thank the Lord. So, but yeah, like, and my mother, she was a young mother, only 17 years old, and it was, it's like, she'll tell me, she's like, Nick, like, I didn't know any better. So, like, for me, when you got diagnosed, I was just like, okay, so what? She didn't, like, look at me any different. It was just like, she was my mom, I was her son, and we were just gonna tackle any challenge, the two of us, and that's what we did, So, yeah.
I was this close to get into, like, LPN or a nurse. Because, and I mean, I even got a master's in special ed because I wanted to learn a lot about not just being with Rodrigo and understanding and where he's at and everything, but basically with everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone who they fall in that category, that they put him on as special ed.
Yep.
But basically I wanted to learn a lot about how the function of the brain of, how I can work with my son in a way too. And believe me, I mean, with Rodrigo, yes, I went through a lot of work with him. It was a lot of work to a point that he's able to walk. He's able to feed himself. He can feed himself, but he's a little lazy one. He's like, I'll just let everybody feed me.
Yeah.
There you go. Huh?
I'll just let mom do it. I remember, when I was younger, my mom would feed me,
Yeah.
and I always did this thing that when I wanted another bite, I would go, ah, ah, ah. Like, that's what I did when I was little. And, like, even nowadays, I'm 32 years old, and my mom will still help feed me here and there. And, like, I'll still do the because it's like, it's so ingrained in my mind. And she'll just start laughing. She's like, you don't have to do that. Just,
Yeah, I know. With
you know.
he has a lot of issues also with the feelings of the spoon or plastic, or I mean, I try to work with him also on feeding with several sippy cups or cups, that they were not sippy cups, but I think it's about texture. So basically the water we give it to him is through syringe, because at least the lips and the tongue, the teeth does not touch that plastic. So he has a problem with that texture of it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to spoons, he doesn't close his mouth like we do,
Yeah.
you scoop out the food out of, the spoon. So we have to do it either through the teeth, the upper teeth, because he will not like to touch it with his lips, the spoon. So
That's interesting.
figure out, how to figure out with him when it comes to feeding him. I mean, when he was a baby, he was able himself to hold on the ¿cómo se llama? The feeding of a bottle.
Yep.
And I had to make the hole a little bigger so the food can go through, or else, I mean, I cannot just give him liquids for the rest of his life,
Yeah.
But there was a point that I said, okay, Rodrigo, we're going to switch to spoon. And man, at the beginning, it was not easy, but he says, well, I don't like the texture and I don't like the texture. So we changed it to, I say, well, just get it from your upper teeth and just scoop it out,
Yep.
So we managed how to do this one.
Yeah, and I think that's really important for parents to hear. Is like, sometimes don't force things on your children.
No.
Just adapt to what they need, because, like for Rodrigo, we might never understand why he doesn't like the texture of certain things. And that's okay. We don't need to. But what we can do is adapt and make it suitable for him.
Yes.
And I think that's just amazing that you do that.
Yeah. He another thing about him is he does love his food. It's like I'm feeding an empty barrel every time.
I was the same way when I was, I'm still the same way.
Like, okay, Rodrigo, when are you getting full? No, I want more. He knows language, and it's very limited language.
Yeah.
He knows about popcorn. He knows more food and water. So, and I ask him, do you want food? And he will say yes. Or if he doesn't answer the yes, that means no, I believe. And, yeah. And basically, he knows. I taught him to do like poop or pee too, and he was able to do that. Now he doesn't do that anymore. When he was young, like around 10 years old, he would know how to say más for more, and so he would say moose like that, or he would say moo like that. That was his tone of voice of talking. He's very deep. Actually, when he talks. But that's how it is with him, huh? Handsome one. He's thinking.
Yep.
But basically, it was at the beginning, it is a lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah.
It's dedication for the past 13 years. I say 13 years because when he turned 13, 14, he went and lived with his father.
Okay.
So that ranged from he was a baby to when Rodrigo was 13. It was me and him, and that was my own dedication. Forget about social life, Nick. I didn't have social life. His father and I, we got divorced when Rodrigo was about 6 years old, I believe, 6 or 7. So basically, I was a single mother. It was a blessing. We did have Mo Health that they have here in Missouri for all his needs and therapies and wheelchair, everything. It has been a blessing for that.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things with my business that I have right now, organic Mexican cuisine, is that 10% of that food that people buy, it goes for single mothers with special ability children that do not have any kind of insurance because they have not been diagnosed, or you have to wait to a certain age to get diagnosed. You're like, oh my gosh. A lot of things have changed since then, and the laws of everything.
Yeah, well, that's amazing that you do that because you're helping so many mothers, and it's just amazing because you know what it's like, and you know the struggle. So now you're able to give back and help other mothers, so their struggle can be just a little bit easier.
It is. I mean, it is a lot, a little bit more easier. I'm working with one parent right now. She has a child with special abilities too, and she has to wait for a certain age in order for him to be diagnosed of what he has, you know. So right now, I saw the kid on this wheelchair that basically he can fall off that wheelchair.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, okay, you know what? I have a wheelchair that Rodrigo used and he's overgrown it.
Yeah.
I'm getting it fixed right now, and soon I'll have it for you. And she's like, oh, God, thank you. She told me the story about it, and I say, yeah, I mean, the parts, it's coming out of that 10% that I was telling you about. We're getting the parts, and that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. Well, I just want to thank you because that's really helpful, and it means a lot. It really does.
It does.
Awesome. So let's talk more about your business because I know you love what you do. So can you tell us a little bit about the foods that you make?
Sure. All the recipes that I got from my mother and what I got from the family too, basically I convert them into organically.
Awesome.
They use a lot of GMO. They use a lot of that kind of stuff. My mom was not like that. My mom was more in the natural. I grew up as a vegan and vegetarian.
Okay.
And it was a different setting of a life that I have. And basically the foods that I prepare, it comes, I mean, I make organic tamales, and basically you can look for me on simply Giulina with a Giulina on Instagram, on Facebook. And I show there all the foods that I make. It shows the tamales that I make. It shows the soups that I make when it comes to winter time or start getting cold. All the tres leches, chocoflan, all the cakes, but as a gluten-free. And instead of using sugars, I use honey.
Okay.
And instead of using gluten, I use gluten-free, like no gluten whatsoever.
Yep.
The masa and the tamales. Now I have from vegan, vegetarian, and non-vegetarian or vegan.
Okay.
So when I do cater, so when I cater parties, I do set and say, well, this is the foods that I make. I mean, we can go through vegan or we can go through non-vegan. So it's awesome. a very broad variety of Mexican cuisine that I basically prepare. And Rodrigo, my gosh, he eats it all.
That's awesome.
I remember in Colorado. Oh my God, we lived in Colorado, and this is another thing. We moved to Colorado like about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the reason I moved there, my son, he used to basically hit his head on any object.
Really?
It was in front of him.
Really?
He will bite himself to a point of bleeding that I had to put a cover, a very thick foam cover, so he will not bleed, you know. But the teeth were still there.
Yeah.
And I said, well, at least he's not bleeding, you know.
Yeah.
And we moved to Colorado, and I sold my house. I sold everything that I had and said, okay, we have to go to Colorado, mijito, because they said that they have CBD. They have doctors that they can manage with CBD. I need something, but now for you. And I feel like this is going to be, well, I felt it in my heart. So we moved to Pagosa Springs, Colorado. And that's where I actually started to do the foods too. I learned a lot there of how to do organic foods there. And that's why I bring it back here, you know, and be at the farmer's market and everything. And the CBD that was given to him, I mean, until today, we still have with CBD, has not like beaten up. I mean, beaten to a point that his head will be pounding on every hard surface he can find. Or he will be biting himself, both of their arms, and or hitting people too. I mean, he will hit people like crazy or pinch them or, oh my God, he does that a little bit, but not as bad as it was.
Yeah, well, that's good. So
that helped a lot.
So him using CBD definitely helped him?
A lot.
Awesome.
A lot.
That's good.
Even his seizures. I mean, my son had basically 30 seizures a day.
Really? A day?
I'm not kidding. It was very exaggerated, but it was. And doctors did not know what to do. They said, okay, let's give him more of this medication. They increased medication. So it was really upsetting. And I said, okay, maybe CBD. We have to go to Colorado. There was a time that it was, instead of 30 a day, it was basically a week. And it started going down, you know, that instead of having 30 a week, we started having like 10 a week. You know, it just started to really go down.
That's amazing.
It was a big help.
Yeah.
A big help.
And, how many a week does he have now?
Now, Nathan, how many you think he usually? 3 a day? Okay, well, 3.
Sometimes not even.
Not even that, yes.
Well, that's way better than 30 a day.
Yeah,
so that's
of course.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, not just that. When we came back to Colorado, you see, in Colorado, he was not having a lot of seizures. I mean, with the CBD and everything, it stopped.
Yeah.
But when we got back here to Missouri, he started having a lot of seizures again, but not as bad.
Yep.
So it was not easy to get the CBD that I needed for him.
Oh.
So we ended up going to Children's Hospital, and there they have the alternative CBD, which I don't like.
Yep.
So basically, I mean, it has helped him, but they ended up putting a VNS. The VNS, it's a thing that they put here near his heart.
Okay.
And how it works is that it brings, when the heart starts palpitating so fast, that means there's a seizure coming up. It sends electromagnetic to the brain in order to calm down the brain. And so it calms down the seizure. It doesn't repeat any more seizures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, and I've never heard of that, so that's good to know.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's amazing, and, you know, you're just incredible, And Rodrigo, you're cool. I've heard so many stories about you. So keep it up.
Yeah.
And so I gotta ask, as you know, my slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you?
Ooh, to me, it means, and it's a never ending.
Mm-hmm.
The abilities that you have, they're always there. And still, when people do not know their own abilities, even though they're there,
Mm-hmm.
it will come out as it when the time is for your own abilities. It is a very broad subject, to talk like abilities, because it can be anything.
Oh yeah.
It can be anything and possibilities.
And that's what I love about it is there's so many possibilities. So, my slogan means something different to everyone I talk to.
Yeah.
And I think that's very powerful. So
yeah, it is very powerful when you find your own abilities. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's non-stopping. It's like the feeling of doing it and going no matter what.
Yeah.
Of what people say. Of what they want you to change or be as,
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing it.
Oh,
And how can people reach out to you and find you and look at what you do?
Sure. I'm in Instagram as simply Giulina, Giulina. Also, I'm in Facebook as simply Giulina also. Soon I'll have a website. It comes from Barn to Home. And I'm working at it where people can order the food through there and I can ship them.
Oh, well, I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome.
It will be done hopefully by mid-September.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting.
Here. So
That's
2024.
Awesome.
But I'm hoping by then I'll send it to you, actually.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. And then, do you have any last words of wisdom you would like to share?
To the people out there, I know it's not easy. It is a challenge. But each of us have their own abilities. And always have this love in your heart, love in your mind, and love in your actions, no matter what.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Rodrigo, he is such a loving man.
Yep.
When winter comes, he will send kisses to everybody.
That's amazing.
Storm, he goes, wah, wah.
That's amazing.
Rodrigo. You want to say anything, Papa? No? No? Okay. No.
All right, this has been really great, Giulina. So thank you so much. And Rodrigo, keep it up. You're doing awesome.
He's smiling. He's just spoiled.
I can see him. All right. Thank you, guys.
We love you and thank you so much for what you do and the work that you are doing.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me here, the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. All right, everyone. Remember, your abilities are infinite.